This is the third tip of 25 that I'm going to be sharing on my own personal ideas and thoughts about how to deal with PTSD and regulate and control our emotional stress and hopefully prevent any suicides. And all these tips are stuff that either I've tried, practiced, or I've read scholarly articles and studies within the body of neuroscience on what can help relieve stress and what can help prevent with any potential suicide ideations and things like that. So the tip I'm going to talk about today, it really has to do with dopamine. And so I'm going to talk in a lot of these series about dopamine. And there's dopamine, there's serotonin, and oxytocin is another chemical that is all naturally released that help regulate stress. And today I'm going to talk about serving others, and that is the tip that I want to emphasize that can help deal with PTSD and make you an overall happier person. So looking at dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all that stuff is naturally released. And I put something up here on the screen that shows how dopamine plays a role in a lot of the physiology of the human body. But the release of dopamine gives us that happiness, that well-being. It's kind of like, it's what you feel when you are rewarded. And so serving others, going out and ensuring you are serving others is the tip that I want to focus on today. And so a lot of these things I'm talking about, these are preventive, emergency preparedness for your mind and soul. These tips need to be implemented now, not when you're already deep into the depressive state. I mean, even if you're going through depressive issues now, still apply them now. But if you are not depressed at all, they still need to be applied now, because this is emergency preparedness. It's like North Carolina, where we have all the hurricanes. You don't want to wait till you see that storm off the coast and decide to go to Walmart and buy all your cases of water and generators and stuff. You need to be prepared now for when it happens, because you don't know when it's ever going to happen. So apply these tips now so you are mentally and emotionally stronger for when they're needed. So service is the tip I want to talk about. And why is service going to help you and those around you with PTSD, suicidal ideations, and stress like that? So first, we're talking about dopamine, the release of that good feeling you get. And dopamine, serotonin, all of these natural chemicals are released when you are serving others. And looking at how the brain is crazy, the way it works, the way it's able to actions that can help make us feel better. And when we serve others, it triggers parts of the brain, the neurons, that put us into an empathetic mode. It allows us to feel empathy for those that we're serving. And it naturally does that. It places us and allows us to look and analyze the world through the lens which they view things, put ourselves in their shoes. It allows us to see what they're going through, which then creates that empathy. Service is so good is because it's highly contagious. It's not only going to impact the giver, because you feel good when you're serving, and of course it impacts the receiver because they feel good because they're getting something, but it also impacts the bystander that is seeing it as well. And the reason that it does this is because the brain has these mirror neurons, which when your brain sees something happening, it kind of wants to do it as well. And naturally just starts doing it. We don't realize, like you just come up to somebody, like you smile real good and you're just like, hey, how you doing? Mine might be a creepy smile, might not be helping you, but simply smiling, and they naturally start to smile. Or if I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, he's talking about boring. Like, now, how many people are feeling like yawning right now? It's a mirror. Neurons cause that to happen. Maybe I'm scratching my face or something and makes you want to itch your face. It's the mirror impact. So serving others creates that mirror. And it's like walking around and smiling causes someone to smile. It's helping somebody, makes someone feel good, and they want to go help somebody. The bystander sees it happen, and he starts to feel good as well. And so it's highly contagious, and it makes you feel overall better as those natural chemicals are being released. And then I think a third point is the act of serving. Your mind and focus is now on something different than a stressful event. It's like when you're feeling bad and down for yourself. I mean, you break up with a girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend, or somebody dies. Instead of just sitting there and sulking and thinking all about how painful you are, just go out and help somebody else. Get your mind off of, poor me, it's so sad. Go out and help other people, and that is going to release the dopamines and help get your mind off the situation and make you feel better. And that's how service will help with PTSD. So now how can you serve? There's so many different ways you can serve. Just sit back and do an analysis and decide, who am I not being nice to? Do I have any siblings I'm not being nice to? Coworkers I'm not being nice to? Neighbor? Let me go out and help them. Let me go out and serve them. There's opening the door for somebody, regardless of the gender. You're waiting in line, let somebody else go first while you're driving. All kinds of things. Let them go first in the grocery store. There's a lot of websites, just serve.org. You can find local places in the area. Like you look up right now, and then there's you can go to cemeteries and start recording stuff for the cemeteries, names and dates and things like that. There's all kinds of different ways to serve. And so I challenge you to ensure you are serving somebody every single day. It's simple acts. You can serve somebody by choosing not to respond negatively on a social media post that contradicts your views. Comment in a way. If you do like to debate back and forth like that, I mean, you can share your opinions and stuff, but do it in a loving way. It's like, yeah, it's not just like, oh, you're wrong, you're dumb. It's like, oh yeah, that's interesting, but I believe it this way. And, find a non-hostile way to do that. And so I challenge you all to find a way to serve, because it is going to provide that dopamine release that you need to have that feeling of well-being. And I think the most important part, and if we think about this, if you think about every action we make around anybody around us could have a positive or negative impact on that person's life. What if someone's having a very bad day? They're on the edge. They're about to jump off the cliff. They have a lot of suicidal ideations. You say something nice to them, and that one emotional release of dopamine, serotonin, that feeling of somebody cared about me, now prevented that person from going over the edge. But think of the opposite. Think if you're having a rough day, everything around you is making you upset. Somebody, you interact with somebody, and you say something negative, you flip them off, you're just so pissed. And that one, you chose to react in a negative way, and that one action that you made has now caused that one person to go over the edge. That was the last straw. They don't even know you, but they're having a rough time, but you chose to react in a negative way. And so think about that. Maybe you're kind of like, yeah, I don't really care about my body that much. I care about everybody around me. But think from that aspect, the love for others. Simply you not smiling and taking an extra second to be nice to somebody could be that one little action that you chose to do that could now cause that person to commit suicide. And if we want to go even deep further, what if that person that just committed suicide was destined to become a teacher who was going to now impact someone else's life to prevent them from committing suicide? I'm talking, it's a wonderful life. It's like if I can't remember the guy's name, jumped off a bridge and now he wasn't there to save his brother or prevent the guy from poisoning something. Your actions could have a third order effect on so many people. Serving others could have such a long, enduring impact, and not serving others could have a negative impact. And that's all I got to say. Go out and serve somebody every single day. And even if that's being nicer on social media, Do what you can to serve. And that is the preventive tip. It's going to help with PTSD.